Well, here we have a story, my friends. Um, okay. Here's a story I heard about Rabbi Mendel Futafas, which I've told a lot of stories about him. I'm sure there are many more than I know. And the story is like this, that Rabbi Mendel Futafas used to go around and collect money for one of the yeshivas over here in Kfar Chabad. And he went to a house of someone, a rich man in England. He used to, when he left Russia, there was a while that he was in England, that he had a factory. And I understand he was a very wealthy person. And he gave all of his money to the yeshiva. Everything he gave to the yeshiva. In any case, so he went to a rich person and he asked him for a donation, somebody that he knew, and the person was very depressed. So Rav Mendel said, what's wrong? So he said, listen, I made some bad decisions and the economy is not so good now, and I owe people money, and things aren't the way they used to be. So Rav Mendel said to him, listen, I want to tell you something. He said, when I was in Siberia, I was there for, I heard so many different stories, but how long he was there. But the least amount of time that I heard was 5 years. I heard another place that was 7 years, another place 10 years, but believe me, even 5 minutes is too much. It's bitter cold and it's bitter hot, and there's anti-Semitism. Every minute was death. You were facing death. In any case, so he said that when I was in Siberia, in hard labor, he said, I always ate kosher. I never ate not kosher. I always kept Shabbat. Somehow or other, he always managed to keep Shabbat. He said, I put on tefillin whenever I had tefillin. I didn't have tefillin all the time, but whenever, as soon as I could get my hands, I put on tefillin. And I prayed 3 times a day, whenever possible. He said, and all that, I don't hold any credit to myself whatsoever. No credit whatsoever. I'm a Chassid. I'm a Jew. A Jew has to do the. So, but one thing I do hold credit to myself, I give myself a pat on the back, is that the whole entire time that I was there, never once was I depressed. And he had a billion reasons. Nowadays, a person loses his wallet, he gets depressed. Right? Then he lost everything. People, it was a one-way ticket. You went to Siberia, people didn't come back. And he saw people dying and getting buried and being killed right and left. Very little chance he was ever going to get out and see his family again. So he lost all of his properties. He lost all of his future. He lost all of his past, lost everything. Everything he had worked for. But nevertheless, he said I was never depressed. One moment, because he always tried to think about something positive or to learn something positive from everything that happened. So in other words, he was saying to this man, I always found something to make me happy, because being depressed is a terrible thing. It's showing that the world is winning, and we're in this world to fix the world, not the world is here to wreck us. So the whole time I was in Siberia, I never was depressed. Always found some way to use my mind to find something positive in every situation, or at least to remove my mind from something negative. Think about the Rebbe, it's a big lesson to us how important it is to always remain positive. And there's a saying that he used to say, Rabbi Mendel, and the saying is, I'll say it in Yiddish. The middle I'm not sure about, but anyway, this is the way I heard it. It goes like this: Geld forlorn, garnished forlorn. If you lose your money, you lost nothing. Gesund forlorn, halb forlorn. If you lose your health, then you've lost half. Mut forlorn, als forlorn. But if you lose your good mood, you lost everything. So again, Geld forlorn, garnished forlorn. Gesund forlorn, halb forlorn. Mut forlorn, als forlorn. If you lose your good mood, you lose everything. Okay, story number 1. Now I'll tell you story number 2.